It's become something of a ritual. Nearly every afternoon, Rabia Riashi writes to her husband, Tony. In her notebook, she describes her day, details of conversations she's had with their son Hadi, and describes her feelings. It's something she began doing more than 28 years ago, shortly after her husband went missing.
I write to remind him that he's still with us and lives among us. I can't always express how I feel verbally, but I can with my writing, and that's why I write to him, to ease my agony and pain.
Tony Riashi, his brother and cousin went missing in 1998 during the final and most brutal years of the Lebanese Civil War. They were on their way to the airport to drop off Tony, who had received a job offer in Dubai. None of them has been heard from since.
After 2 days, we still hadn't heard anything from them. We tried making phone calls, but it was a time of war, and we could hear bombs going off everywhere. And so it was so difficult to contact anyone. When we still heard nothing, I had a nervous breakdown. I started banging my head against the wall. I just didn't know what to do.
Stories like Rabia Riashi's are not uncommon. In front of the United Nations headquarters in central Beirut is a tent where the families of those whose loved ones went missing during the war sit in protest. The conflict ended in 1990, but after so many years without answers, many protesters have either died or are too old to come here anymore. It's estimated around 17,000 people disappeared during Lebanon's 15-year civil war, and over 150,000 people died. The Lebanese government says it hasn't opened any meaningful investigation into these disappearances because in doing so, it would reopen old wounds. Most of the missing and disappeared are civilians. They were taken from their homes, from the streets, or at checkpoints controlled by militias or foreign troops. Most are believed dead and buried in mass graves. Groups like the International Committee of the Red Cross have started campaigns urging the Lebanese authorities to take firm measures to clarify the fate of people unaccounted for and to provide answers for their families.
It's really important to have a proper legal basis to address this, because you need a mechanism that has the powers, the resources, the capacity to do all the work that needs to be done. And you also need to collect information about the missing before it's too late.
Rabia Riashi says she will never stop trying to find out what happened to her husband, Tony. And until she does, she will continue writing to him about all that they have missed together. Imtiaz Taib, Al Jazeera, Beirut.